Today's review will be the video game Borderlands the pre-sequel, released for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and the PC. Let's do it. Alright. So, I don't know how to say this, but I want to start this review off with one single statement. I don't know if this game is better than Borderlands 2 or just as good, because whenever anybody talks to me about Borderlands pre-sequel, they say, so is it better than Borderlands 2 or is it just like a big DLC? And that's the problem I have. I think Borderlands the pre-sequel has given this misconception that it's just a big like DLC, like a money grab, when I really feel as a Borderlands fan it brings some more depth to this universe and makes it feel more like the universe. Of course, with the game, there's a few gripes, like, I'll get into more of that later in the review, but I don't know if to tell you if this game is better than Borderlands 2 or just as good. I wanted to put that out there because I knew it was going to come up somewhere in there. Is it better? But personally, I don't know. We'll go through this review, and at the end, I'll decide, as long with you'll decide. So let's get straight into this. Starting off with let's start off with the positives. So, the main selling point of this game is that it takes place in space. And I have to say, for the most part, I quite like the area. It's a lot different, at least, from, what was it? Borderlands 1 was just desert. Borderlands 2 was, let's put some snow on that for the majority of it. But space is definitely more unique than the other ones that we've had. There are a few gripes, though, I do have with the space, but right now I'm only talking about the positives. So the butt slam is extremely fun. It is very fun to just hop up and then slam, kill people with your ass. So the butt slam is pretty fun. I quite enjoy the butt slam. How you can shoot yourself forward when you're running is pretty nifty. It's a nice little added bonus. And that's basically, I don't really like the vehicles, and there's one thing I don't like. I found I got more used to it, but at the beginning I definitely noticed it. When you're running, you're supposed to run normally, but when you run in space, you run at like a slower pace. You kind of hop back and forth. And when you're first getting it, it's like when you're running like that in space, and then I thought it was this, especially when you get to Concordia, which is the new sanctuary. But when you're running and you're hopping because you're in space, and then you start running, you feel like the friggin' Flash.
It's a really bad meme website made by like 9-year-olds. It's actually designed for like kids under 12.
It's that's just one thing. That's my biggest thing that I found with this game that I didn't really like. That was it. So, getting on to more of something you all want to hear, lasers. Lasers and the ice mechanic. Because, 2K Australia, I think, did a way better job at, making it a game. It's a bit weird to say because, again, with Borderlands 2, at the end there, horrible scaling. It was just, everything wasn't very good at the end. The game was more fun when it launched with problems. So, with 2K Australia, they're more, how would I put this? They're better at it. They know what they're doing more than Gearbox. Where Gearbox has really made Borderlands and Colonial Marines, Alien, it's stuff they've pushed under the rug, like Duke Nukem and Aliens, nobody likes to talk about what else they've made. So really, Borderlands is all they have, and it's not just think about the first one. The first one seemed more like a tech demo or something like that. The second one much better. But, after you played it so many times, the only enjoyable thing you had about the story in that game was Handsome Jack. That was all you had in Borderlands 2 that was enjoyable. I started to hate the story. I hated playing through the game. Just the campaign. It was always like, I just want to get out of this and just go on to the free roam stuff. But with the pre-sequel, I haven't really had this problem. But getting into with the pre-sequel, its story is much better. The story feels more put together. More connecting. And it's, some people say prequels and everything aren't necessary because you know how it's going to go down. But I found in this game, it gave you very interesting things. They show you how the first constructor was made. And you're like, okay, that's pretty cool. I see how, why they did that, how it came up with. And The stories, though, no, not the stories, the missions. Some of these missions in this game are very, very long, which is a nice change. There is only 10 missions, but would you rather have 10 really long missions or 17 mildly short missions? So it's more of like a trade-off with this game. If you want longer missions and a better story, I would definitely go with pre-sequel. Because Handsome Jack, as this bad guy hero that he is in the campaign, is great. Just as good as always, and finding out what actually made him become Jack is really cool, and it's neat. And another big point, as I actually mentioned this earlier, didn't finish it, but the laser weapons feel so right in the Borderlands game. They just work perfectly. I had a laser on me every single time I was playing the game. Like at least one. It was either equipped in my backpack or I was using it. The lasers feel perfect. They fluid, like they just match. It's a match made in heaven, really. So I'm really happy that 2K Australia was able to do that, because Gearbox always said we could never figure it out, and that's one with the ice. I found ice a little bit not. I thought I'd use it more. It's just I don't really use it that much, so it's not too effective. I wish it was more effective. Everyone's really worried about the oxygen factor, this new kind of droppable, like if you don't have enough you die, and I will admit getting oxygen's a little annoying sometimes. Normally you can get it whenever it's available, you kill people, it drops a lot, but it can get really annoying when you totally forget about it, or definitely when you're not playing with sound. If you have your headphones hooked up into something else, listening to music, oxygen can beat your ass with an unpleasant surprise showing that you are dying mid-boss battle. So the oxygen is a little annoying, but really if it's that annoying to you and you don't like it that much, play as Claptrap. Because Claptrap doesn't get oxygen, and it's fine. So speaking of Claptrap, let's get into the characters. So one really big thing, it's a little thing, but it's just perfect for me and how I thought it was great. In the game, your characters get a lot more unique character quotes. Basically, they'll both say different lines, and it's just unique. So at certain parts in the game, you want to go back. I played with Nisha as my first character, and there's one part where Jack does something like kind of messed up, and her immediate reaction was, "Oh my god, that was awesome! I'd love to do that again." And it just made me think, how would the other characters react? How would Claptrap react? How would Athena react? How would Wilhelm react? And it just made me think, like, it makes me want to go back and play it. So, and it's taken a while, and of course how they've justified true Vault Hunter mode is excellent. How Tiny Tina wants to hear the story again, but with badder enemies and changing their names. But getting more into the character side, another thing, every character is unique, none of them are the same. It's a little bit disappointing not to have a Siren character, but that's okay, we can live without it, it's not that big of a deal. But, you know, no two characters play the same in that kind of way. Like, some people thought maybe Wilhelm's just gonna be Axton over again. He's not. He really is his own character. I don't know about Nisha, she's kind of like the Gunzerker a little bit, but there's some things that are special, like she's really good for, like, when you do that out, you auto-aim basically to whatever, so she's really helpful at certain points, very helpful in boss battles. Athena, Captain America, you know, with the shield. I quite like the shield. It's a nice little package. And Wilhelm, he's not Axton or anything. He is his own character. And Claptrap. Oh, Claptrap. He's everybody, but that's his point. He's supposed to be the spoof or the mistake. So, let's talk about something that I really had a problem with in Borderlands 2. But they very much fixed it in this one. The end battle with the end battle with Jack and the warrior leaves much to be desired. You're kind of just like, okay, he stands there, sometimes shoots a laser out of his tail. It's not exciting. It's not what you want it to be. I remember the first time I played Borderlands 2, though, getting to kill Jack, I was ecstatic. I was like, yeah! That was a great ending. But it was like, the more you played it, you're just like, man, this is okay. He just stands there. It's nothing exciting. In this one, they very much fixed it. I'm not going to spoil anything, but let's just say this feels like a very true boss battle. It's hard, it's relentless, and you can't die the whole time. Unless you have a friend. and they can't die either when you die. So it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. It felt like a boss battle. It was the perfect boss battle. They did fix it. The only thing is, if you play the boss and you beat him, you know what I mean. But you kind of wish he would change a little more. There isn't that much variety in all of his different forms. So, and I don't really have anything else to say. I think, if you like Borderlands, if you've liked Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 1, but you're like, is it worth it? I say it's totally worth it. With it not being on next gen, it's a little bit shaky, but get it for PC. I got it for PC. It was one of the best decisions I made. The game looks better, runs better, everything's better. So I say get it for PC if you're a Borderlands fan. You can get it for Xbox or PS4. I'm not saying, or PS3. I'm not saying anything bad if you get it for those, but I say if you're like, well, I got rid of that and I don't have my PS3 or my Xbox 360 anymore, get it for PC. But if you're not a fan of Borderlands, I don't think this game will change you. I think this is more of kind of like a fan love letter. That's what it seems to me. It's really good for the fans, but if you played Borderlands 2 and you're like, I like it, but the story's not there, get this game. This game, it's what you wanted. It's a better story. It does lack a little bit in the story, but it's a better story definitely than Borderlands 2. Miles ahead of Borderlands 1. So in the end, out of my ranking system, of course, I'll give it out of 10. I give this game a solid 8 out of 10. Now, if you excuse me, I've got some vault hunting to do.